Welcome in, everyone. In this lesson, we're going to show you how you can convert your static, boring Power BI reports and add some more dynamic automations using Power Automate. If you have any questions, post your comments in the chat. We will be using the superhero movie data set. So if you go to kaggle.com, here is the link. I also have this link in the chat. So, and if anyone wants to join the live stream, I also put that link in the chat as well. So we're going to get started. Let me share my screen. I wanted to show you one thing, where to go to Kaggle, right here. So this is the superhero movies data set. You have to, it's this free account you can sign up for. And once you get to this site here, you just press download, and it's in a zip file. You just unzip it, and then you'll get the data set. All right. So I'm going to go to Power BI real quick and download the data set or import it in. All right. Let me share my screen. Whoops, hold on. All right. Also, I'm sharing this part because we're going to put our Power BI report in a data set. So you need to have at least the Power BI Pro license. All right. I'm trying to get to the, here it is, Power BI. All right. So I'm assuming that you've downloaded the data set from Kaggle. And if you have, then we're going to go to Power Query. I'm going to go to Transform Data, New Source. Uh, uh, it's a text file, or actually it's Excel. Let me see. I'm going to connect. To That's not it. Uh, Hold on a second. All right. Yep, it's in there. Super downloads. Okay. Just have to find it. Give me 1 second. Where did I put it? It's in here. I'm gonna put it in my desktop. Oh, it is a CSV. All right, that's why I don't see it. Okay. All right. Sorry. Now, this is what we're gonna do. Go back to Power BI. CSV file. Downloads. Here it is. All right, we're ready. Um, we're going to import the data set in here. Oh, you can't see it because it's in Power Query. All right. All I'm doing is I'm importing it. So I'm just going to close and apply, and you'll see it shortly. All right, you see that right there? The super table. All right, I imported the data set from Kaggle. It's right here. It has these columns. We can look at it closely if we go to the table view. It has the year, the film, publisher, director, distributor, worldwide gross, and description. So those are the columns. And so what I'm going to do is, we got a comment here. All right. All right, David. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a Power BI table from this data set. And so I'm just going to go select a table. It's right here. And just put in these fields in the table. Make this a little smaller so we can see everything. I'm going to put the year in the front. I'm going to change rename this to just say year. Move this over here. Trying to adjust it so we can see all the columns. All right, there we go. Okay, so we have our table. We don't need the description. I'm going to get rid of that. So now we have a little bit more room to use. So we got year, director, distributor, film, publisher, and worldwide gross. All right, this is the area we're going to put our button right here. That's why I moved everything over to the left. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to export the data that you see in this Power BI table into a SharePoint list. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create the SharePoint list, right? So we're going to create a SharePoint list. So let me share my screen. Um, so I'm going to create a new SharePoint list. Oh boy. All right, I guess I can't. We go back to Power BI. Let me look at something real quick. Okay. Hold on one second. All right, we're going to try it a different way. See if it works. I'm going to try to go to Excel. Whoops. All right. I'm going to see if it'll work in Excel. I'm going to try to create a SharePoint list from here. So I'm going to, I just need the columns to create the SharePoint list, but I'm going to select the columns and the first record. So right here, let me see how many columns there are. Oh, this work. Looks like there's 7 columns. Okay. All right. So I'm going to select, like I said, the first column and the first row of the data set, and then I'm going to just put that in the second tab right here, and I'm going to create a table from this. And now, once I do that, I could export this to a SharePoint list. I need get the site name. Here we are. Site name. Hopefully this will work. I'm going to call it SharePoint list superhero. And I'll hit next. Finish. All right, it published it. So we need to go to SharePoint. Hopefully we can go there. Let's go back. Oh, this one. Let me see if I can go there from here. Why won't it let me go to SharePoint? All right, that won't work. So what we're gonna do is mm, all right, let me go back. I'm gonna go to let me go back to Power BI. Whoops. I'm gonna show you the process, okay? All right. So let's say we wanted to put this in SharePoint. I'm gonna go to. I'm going to first create a slicer. So I'm gonna go back to Power Query. I'm gonna create a slicer for. Create a slicer for what are the columns here for the film. Or let's see, how about the director? We'll do a slicer for the director. So I'm gonna go to back to Power Query. I'm going to reference our data set and call it director, and just remove all the columns except for the director and the copied version. If you go to choose columns in Power Query, and then select just the director, it removes all the other ones. And then you can remove the duplicates out of that column. Whoops. Nope, 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 nope. You can remove the duplicates. And I'm gonna close and apply, and you'll see a director table over here on the right. Okay, so we have a director table with just the director column. I'm going to create a slicer for that director column. I'm going to change this from a list. I go to slicer settings to a drop down. So now we have a drop down for a slicer with a list of directors. So if I pick any one of these directors, it will filter the table over here on the left because we have that relationship. If you go here to model view, Power BI is smart enough to find the relationship between the director table and the director column in the super table. So that's how it was able to filter. So we have that. Now, what we're going to do is we can, like I said, we can filter by the director. We can filter, or we can select an item. So we can select an item here. Um, Now I have some code I already did from another course. It's very similar. So I'm going to create some measures. I'm going to put it in a table called measures. Uh, not here, not that. I'll create a new table. Why? Where is it at? Yeah, it should have been, enter data. Sorry. You go to enter data, and then I'm going to call this DAX measure. I like to put all my measures in a table called, with all my measures in there. So it's organized. So I'm going to load this. It's an empty table. You'll see it over here, DAX measures. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to create a measure. And all the measures are going to go inside that table. So the first measure I'm going to do is it's going to be called selected director. And it's going to look at the director in the director field, the director in the director table. So I have that measure created right there. Okay. So if we created a card visual and we selected a measure, right now it's blank because we haven't selected a director. But when we select a director in the slicer, say Aaron Norris shows up as our measure. All right. Now these measures that we are going to create, we're going to use in our Power Automate flow, all right, as filters. So that's the measure for selected director. Let me clear that. Let me go to another measure. The next measure is going to be for selecting an entry in here. So I'm going to go to new measure. I'm going to call this selected film. And it's going to be based on the film that's selected in the table. All right, so I'm going to create another card visual right here. And I'm just going to select the film. So right here, Zorro. Uh, use the slicer. Wait a minute. Put the slicer in here. That's for, this needs to be for a film right here. There we go. Sorry. So selected film, Zorro. If I pick another film, let's say Resident Evil, it shows Resident Evil as the selected film. So right here, I'm just picking it in the table. So right here, Street Fighter, um, the Green Knight, it doesn't matter what I pick. Whatever I pick is going to show up as the measure name, selected film, okay? Are there any questions on what I've done so far? All right, we're going to create a few more measures. Let me get rid of this. All right, we're going to create the next measure we're going to create is going to give the user instructions on how to use this report. So I'm going to create another measure. So this is going to be called selection made, and it's going to use the the measures that we've already created. So if I select the film, that'll be step one, and then step two will be to press the button that we're going to create for um, a Power Automate flow. This right here is going to be our director. All right, so we have three options here, and this will make sense once I show you. All right, so I'm gonna create another card visual over here for selection made. All right, so let me make this smaller. Change the call out value to, let's say, 20. All right, so step one is going to be, it says to select the film in the table or select the director from the slicer. Or you can press the button for all the data, which we will create the button in a minute. So I can select a film from the table, which is this one, and then I can press the button. So step one is to select a film. Step two is to press the button. Or I could select a director from the slicer and then press the button. So that's option two. Or I could just press the button, which we will create. So we have three options to export the data. All right, does that make sense? Okay, thanks, David. Now, let me go back. I'm going to change this. I'm just going to make it a different color. That's under, yeah, right here. Um, I'll make it white. All right, and we can get rid of that. Um, Call out label. Turn that off. All right, so that's our instructions for how to use this report, and we're going to create one more measure. I'm going to get rid of this column there. All right, so create one more measure, and we're basically doing the same thing. It's going to be for the director. So I want this. If they choose the director from the slicer, I want the measure to say director. If they choose a film from the table, I want this to say film. And if they just press the button, I want to say all. All right, no errors. So that's our user selection table or measure. If we create a card visual, I'll show you how this works. So we have all right now because we haven't selected anything. If we select a film in the table, it shows film. We selected a film. And if we select a director from the slicer, it'll say director, right? So we're going to use this. This is going to be when we create our Power Automate flow. We're going to use a case statement, and the case statement is going to be based on this measure. So it's going to say, okay, if I select a director, it's going to do all the things, for a director. If I select a film, it's going to do all the things for the film. So you'll see how we set this up. All right. I'm going to see if I can get into SharePoint. Hold on one second. It's not going there at all. All right. Well, I'm just going to show you how to set it up then. Okay. So now we're ready. We have our measures. We are ready to create our Power Automate flow. So here it is. You select Power Automate Visual. All right. Now we're going to use all of our measures except for selection made. Selection made was this. So I'm going to drag or just click all the other ones except for that one into this field well for Power Automate data right here. So we can use all of these measures when we are building our flow. All right, so now we can go to our flow. I'm going to click the three dots and I'm going to go to edit. It's going to take us into Power Automate. I'm going to create a new flow. All right, so, one other thing, sorry. What we need to do is we need to save this report. I'm going to call it, let's call it super. And I'm also going to publish it to a workspace. Publish to my workspace. All right. So now what we need to do is we're going to go back to this Power Automate, but we need to get the what's called the DAX query that builds this Power BI table. So if you see here, you have DAX query view. Now, if you don't see this, you can go to File, Options and Settings, Options, and there's a setting in here you need to check. Um, if you go to Preview Features and go to it says Write DAX queries with Copilot, make sure that's checked. If it is, then you should see this. So we're going to click. We're going to go to that in a second. So to get the DAX query out of here, all you have to do is go to the Optimize tab in the menu and select Performance Analyzer, and then press the Start Recording button, and then press Refresh Visuals. So this right here, when we press the Refresh Visuals, it scanned all of our visuals. You see the Power Automate visual, you see the card, you see the slicer, and then you see the table. So if you click the plus sign in the table, it has where you can copy the query. So I'm going to copy the query by selecting it, and I'm going to go to DAX Query View, create a new query right here, get rid of this, and I'm going to paste our query right here from the clipboard. And then I'm going to run, and you'll see that this is our query that we have from our table. Once we have that, we can select everything and copy it to our clipboard. So we're going to use this DAX query in our flow. All right. So let me go back to report view. We don't need this anymore. So now we're ready to create our flow. So I'm going to go to edit. Go to new instant cloud flow. All right. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Power BI. Remember, we pushed this to our workspace, so we're able to do this first step. I press the See More button, and there's a action in here, right here. It's called Run a Query Against a Data Set. I'm going to choose that one. See, it's asking for a workspace, so we have one. It's called My Workspace. That's the one I put the report on. It's asking for the data set. I called it Super, which is the name of the file. And then the query text is that DAX query that we got from our DAX query view. I'm just going to paste that in here. All right. So that's all we need. Now, once we have that, I'm going to act like we're going to export it to Excel. I'll show you why we're doing that. So I'm going to type in CSV and choose create CSV table, and in the from section, I'm going to choose first table rows from our data set here. And I'm going to call this flow, I don't know, super flow. I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to hit the back button, and I'm just going to run just that flow right now. Done. It's running. It's finished. It was successful. All right, so we have created this flow. It ran successfully. Now, if we want to transfer data from Power BI to SharePoint, that was the goal, right? In order to do that, we need to convert our information into JSON. JSON stands for um, JavaScript object notation. So to do that, we need it in a JSON format. Well, if we click in the create CSV table and we go to the from section here, it's already in JSON for us. So I'm just going to select in the from section, copy everything in here, select all, copy, all right? And I'm going to hit edit. And then I'm going to go to new step, and I'm going to type in parse JSON. Parse JSON. Now it's asking for the content, which is the same thing, first table rows, and then the schema. So in order to get the schema, we need a sample. Well, if we go to generate from sample, we press that button, it's asking to insert a sample. Well, we have our sample from our CSV file. We paste it in here, we hit done, and then we get our schema. Now that we have our schema, we need to look out for one thing. So the format in or the data types in JSON, it accepts Boolean, number, and string. So all the ones that say integer, we need to change it from integer to number. So I think that was the only one. So string, 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 number, Boolean. All right, that's all we need. And so once we have it in JSON format, now we are ready to put it in SharePoint. Now, remember, we use this user selection measure, right? So we're going to create a condition, type in, or not condition, a switch. We'll type in switch. All right, so it says on. So what are we using? We're using that measure. So I'm just going to go into Power BI here and find the user selection right here, user selection measure. And then in the switch statement, all I need to do is put in my case statements. So remember, the first one was film. It doesn't matter what order either. The second one was director. And the third one was all, right? So we have three case statements, or three cases in our switch statement. So I'm going to do the film first. So what we'll do is you hit action. And so this is where we need our SharePoint list. But I'm just going to go through the motions here and show you. We don't actually have the actual list. We do have a list, but it's not um, the one that has our column names. So I'm going to select the site address. So I can select any one of these. It's not gonna populate, how we want. So just imagine that for this, we had an actual SharePoint list that had those same column names from our Power BI table. So once we have that, see, this is just an employee um, SharePoint list. We can, at this point, we can map our column names from our SharePoint list to what was parsed in JSON, right? Um, so if they selected the film, you would just put in uh, you put in the all the you put in the film, in the film column, you put in the director in the director column, the publisher in the publisher column, the year in the year column, right? So that's how you would transfer your data from Power BI to SharePoint. You would do that for the film, and then you would do that for the director, and then you would do that for all. Now, actually, let me see. So in the the yeah, that's how you would do it. So, are there any questions? Well, I want to thank everyone for joining. Sorry for not being able to. Let me try SharePoint one more time, and if it doesn't work, then we'll have to stop. Um, nope, let me get in there. All right. Well, yep. We won't be able to use SharePoint because I can't get in there. But that's how you would set it up. So if I don't have any questions, thanks for watching, and please like the video, and we'll see you next time.